On behalf of the Punjab Medical Legal Agency, we're here to provide some practical guidance for medical legal reporting in cases of custodial death. Now, this isn't a theoretical exercise. This is a critical skill, and getting it wrong, well, it can have very severe professional consequences. So please, pay close attention.
Let's start with the single most important principle you need to grasp. It's this: clinical errors are rare. Medical legal errors are routine. While mistakes in clinical judgment do happen, they are far, far less common than errors in your procedure, your documentation, and your protocol. And it's these medical legal errors that routinely lead to serious legal complications for doctors and for institutions. This idea is really the foundation of everything we're about to discuss. So, to prevent these complications, we first have to clearly distinguish between the two fundamental types of error. Understanding this difference is really the first step towards protecting yourself and your work. So what's the difference? A clinical error, that relates to patient treatment. A misdiagnosis, maybe an incorrect therapeutic decision. A medico-legal error, on the other hand, is a failure in the process. It's a missing signature. It's recording an incorrect time. It's writing an ambiguous description. And here's the critical part. In a court of law, a perfectly performed autopsy can be rendered completely invalid by one simple procedural mistake. Your medico-legal diligence is therefore every bit as important as your clinical skill. Okay, so how do we prevent these medico-legal errors? Well, the solution lies in a standardized system. Let's introduce your primary tool for this. Look at this, the standardized Form 7B for custodial death. It's not just a bureaucratic task you have to get through. You have to start viewing it as a system, as a protocol that's designed to guide you. Every single field, every section, it exists for a specific legal reason. When you fill this out correctly and completely, this document becomes your most effective shield against any legal challenges down the road. The strength of your report actually begins before you ever make the first incision. It starts with establishing an irrefutable record of who handled the body and when. This is the chain of custody. You see, in a courtroom, the body itself is a critical piece of evidence. Any gap, any break in that documented chain of custody can be grounds to invalidate your entire report. The court has to be absolutely certain that the evidence, and by extension your findings, have not been tampered with. This is exactly what those initial sections of the form are designed to establish. Each of these fields creates a verifiable link in that chain. You document who identified the body. You document which police official brought it in. You document the magistrate who is present and the videographer who recorded the entire procedure. Every name, every signature, it all builds an interlocking record that becomes exceptionally difficult for anyone to challenge later on. I want you to think of these administrative details as the foundation stones of your report. If you get them wrong, everything you build on top of them can crumble. A simple little discrepancy between the time of receipt and the time you start the autopsy, a good lawyer can exploit that to suggest something improper happened. Meticulous accuracy right here is absolutely paramount. All right, let's proceed to the core of the examination itself, and it's here that you have to remember who you're writing for. Your ultimate audience is not another doctor, it's the court. Your observations have to be documented in a way that is crystal clear to a layperson, a judge, a lawyer, a jury member. You should avoid jargon whenever you can. Every finding you document must be a statement of objective fact, supported by the evidence you've collected, because ambiguity will always be interpreted as uncertainty. Now, consistency. This is critical. If you mark an abrasion on the right cheek on this diagram and you label it injury number 1, then the written description for injury number 1 in the table must describe that exact abrasion in precise detail. Any discrepancy between the visual and the text creates a point of weakness in your report that can, and I assure you, will be challenged. In cases where you have an unidentified body, establishing identity is obviously a primary goal. The dental chart provides a scientific, objective record. By meticulously marking all the caries, fillings, and missing teeth, you're creating a unique profile. This serves as undeniable proof of identity, and it's far more reliable than just subjective physical descriptions. Vague descriptions are legally indefensible. For instance, just stating the brain was congested is simply not enough. The form, supported by diagrams like this, pushes you for specifics. Was there a subdural hemorrhage? Over which hemisphere? What was its volume? This kind of precision demonstrates your thoroughness and leaves no room for doubt during a cross-examination. The very structure of the form enforces a systematic approach. By proceeding sequentially from the cranium and spinal cord down through the neck, chest, abdomen, and pelvic cavity, you ensure that no area is overlooked. This methodical process itself becomes evidence of a professional and thorough examination.
And now we arrive at the culmination of your report. This is where all your documented findings are synthesized into a final expert conclusion.
Your opinion must be a direct, logical conclusion drawn from the evidence you've already documented. A vague statement like, died from injuries, is very easy to challenge. A strong opinion, something like, asphyxia due to strangulation by ligature, is directly supported by your specific findings in the neck dissection. The evidence and the opinion must form an unbreakable link. You'll see the opinion section of the form is structured to answer the key questions the court is going to have. You're required to state the immediate and underlying cause of death. You have to opine on the nature of the weapon or force used. You have to distinguish between antemortem and postmortem injuries and confirm that they were lethal. Addressing each of these points creates a conclusion that is comprehensive and legally robust.
Finally, let's step back from this specific form and talk about the broader principle this entire process is designed to teach you.
And here we are, back at our core principle. The entire purpose of a standardized protocol like Form 17 is to prevent these routine procedural errors. Your clinical skill is assumed. It's the procedural diligence that protects you and protects the integrity of justice.
So the key takeaway here isn't just how to fill out a form. It's about how to think. This is what we call the medical legal mindset. It means you trust the system that's been laid out for you. It means understanding that your documentation is your #1 defense in any future inquiry. It means writing with the kind of clarity a legal audience requires. And above all, it means ensuring consistency across your entire report. This mindset is what proactively prevents litigation.
We'll leave you with this question to reflect on in your own practice. Is your report just a record of events, or is it a defensible legal document? Because the difference between those two things is the difference between vulnerability and security.
This concludes our guidance on behalf of the Punjab Medicolegal Agency. We thank you for your attention to this very critical matter.